Hello, and welcome to Own Your Home Years Sooner. I'd like to welcome Jeremy Newsom. Jeremy is an investing guru, author, and podcaster. Welcome, Jeremy.
What is up, champion? How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. I really appreciate you being here. I'm very excited for our conversation today.
Likewise.
So we're going to kind of jump around. I first wanted to start with mindset. And I've heard you talk about the acronym EGO. So I wanted you to share a little bit about that with us, because I think we need a huge shift in our mindsets. And I kind of wanted it. We'll jump around, but
sure.
Yeah,
I love jumping around. I mean, that's natural conversation, right?
Yeah.
You know, my belief about the word mindset simply means that your mind is set on something. And oftentimes people will create these beliefs that they have their entire life, or like, this is the right way to do things.
Yes.
And for me, there was a gentleman, very, very popular author named Ryan Holiday. He wrote a book called Ego is the Enemy. And in the book, he's talking about ego essentially stands for edging God out. Mm-hmm. And to correlate that to both money and awareness and mindset, let's think about the term, I love money, just for a moment. Okay. Many people are actually afraid to say that out loud. And that's because there's a scripture that says the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yes.
So they go, well, I can't love money because that's the root of all evil. But then they forget the word root, because every tree has a root system. Mm-hmm. And you can't ask a banana tree to grow cherries or an apple tree to grow blackberries. You get to decide how your tree is growing. Is it a giving tree, or is it a greedy tree? Is it an abundance tree, or is it something that's going to grow roots of hatred and anger? So you get to decide, but I can tell you this for sure. You must love money to become fabulously wealthy and to be extremely happy when you have the money. Because if you're creating a dichotomy in your mind of saying, I don't love money, but you want a lot more of it, you think about it all the time, and you would love to have a lot more, but you say you don't love it, it creates this weird on and off switch. Because in my personal opinion, money is the exact same relationship energy, right? As relationships, it's the same exact energy. You have to talk about it often. You have to think about it often. You have to give it praise, admiration, the same thing that you do to all your friends and family.
Thank you for that. That's just eye-opening, because I know, my grandparents used to say that same saying all the time: money is the root of all evil. So this is a huge mindset shift that needs to occur, especially with what's going on right now in the economy and everything that's happening. So thank you for that. That's
sure.
And I think I've heard you say that the soul, self, and ego are all the same thing, and it's not a bad thing, right?
It's not a bad thing. No, it's not. It's something that we have to be aware of. Mm-hmm. Just understand what it is and how it works. Because if you, the ego is that feeling of need, it's that feeling of want, it's that what's called a desire body. But it's absolutely okay to have it, because many people will say a very, very popular phrase: oh, I don't need that. I don't need any more. I don't want anything else. I don't need anything else. If you don't need and you don't want, you definitely will not have.
Right.
So it's a requirement to do amazing things is to want and to have that desire body. It's it's a positive, because with money, that is one of the best ways to impact so many people, nations, countries, leaders, thought leaders, people, schools, counties, individuals, family members. It's a phenomenal tool for very, very positive impact. And if you use it appropriately, it brings so much joy, prosperity, and bliss into your life.
Exactly. So I think we should change the phrase, money does grow on trees, teaching our children at a young age, because that's really where it starts, right? If we can start their mindsets off in a different space, then they'll basically grow up and grow into abundance and have wealth and creation and just.
You were so right. You were so right. Because here's an example. I'm going to do two stories of school.
Okay, great.
So imagine we have Susie, and Susie's in math class. And in math class, it says to Susie, Susie has 5 apples and she gives away 3. How many apples does she have left? Okay. Or in the exact same approach, Susie has 5 businesses. She decides to sell 3 businesses. How many businesses does Susie have now? Same math formula, same answer, totally different belief system now, because originally Susie has to give away her food.
Right.
She's like, well, I have less food
She's
now.
like, oh.
But
Right.
in the other one, you can now teach children that they can own businesses.
Yes.
And you can sell businesses to bring in money and still have less businesses, but have more money.
Money. Yes.
But you're still teaching them the same math concept. This is the approach that we need to be having and teaching individuals and parents and teachers and kids, is the awareness of abundance and how you can restructure questions, statements, and beliefs into ones of really positive joy and fulfillment. And again, overall awareness and abundance. Absolutely.
Yes. So I think I shared with you, so I purchased property for my daughter when she was born, my kids, each child. And I thought, when they're of age, I will teach them how to create passive income through real estate. So she's going to be turning 15, and we're going to use that property as paid free and clear. And we can get into this later. I didn't use the strategy of paying it off with the HELOC in 4 years, but that's what this whole summit's going to be teaching people about replace your mortgage later on in the summit. But I've started talking to her about it and her mindset prior to, because I had just given her her first debit credit card. She's not aware of money at all, probably the last 6 months. And now that she's buying things on there and she gets just a certain amount of money per quarter, she's learning how to budget and do all these things. And she's created this fear mentality just after giving her this card. Like, things are so expensive. How am I going to do this? When I grow up, and she's starting to think of college, like, what am I going to do? Like, just all these things are just going on in her head. I don't want to be struggling and living. Like, she just went, wow. So she just started high school, and I have just shared with her, well, I bought a piece of property for you, and next year we're going to go out and we're going to buy a place. We're going to use some money. You have $1,500 a month that comes in from this income, and I'm putting it and been saving it for you. And so here's what we're going to do. So you're going to pull 100,000 out, go buy another property in Texas, for 150, 200, teach you how to put a client, use property management, the whole process. So, and her mind is just like, really? Wow. Like, oh, I can create money that way. Like, it's just starting to shift. And so she is really excited, which is my goal, right? To teach them in high school about money and how it works and the abundance, and you can create wealth and passive income, and it doesn't have to be a struggle or a grind. Because my hope is that, she graduates and then we do rinse and repeat again, because we'll use the replace your mortgage in 4 years, and she'll go off to college, to university with, 3 properties producing income, and have income from that. And then if she chooses to use, whatever college she goes to, Stanford, or, who knows where she'll go, but she has that, and she's starting off on the right foot without the stress, because I don't want to do everything for her where she's not learning. I know you've probably heard that phrase, teach them how to fish. And then they'll be able to just, we want our children to be independent and successful and live life, but just starting off without, and by the time she's done with college, having no debt and not having student loans. And so she can really focus on, to your point earlier about when you have this, your mindset shifts and you can contribute to the world, and to just coming from a space of contribution and going into college of, what do I want to contribute to this world? Not what job do I want to get so I can make a ton of money and provide for myself and my family. just the whole shift in the mindset from the very beginning. So I think that we're on the same page of financial empowerment and changing, maybe not the educational system right up front, but if enough of these kids start doing this and learning these things, that it'll just kind of weed its way into our American education system.
100%.
So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And you have children, I don't know like what age they are, but I'm sure you've been, if you can share maybe some tools that you're planning to, or that
Sure.
you've already started with your children, that would be great.
Totally. Well, one of them is I'm teaching, so I have two sons, Gabriel, who is 12, he'll be 13 in January, and then Jason, who is 14 months.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm teaching Gabriel, who again is 12 years old. He is learning to be an owner, not just a consumer, because my world and my wealth focus for the last 12 years has been stock market.
Yes.
So he plays a video game called Roblox, and Roblox is publicly traded, which means you can buy shares of it and actually be an owner, a part owner of Roblox. So as Roblox, the company, makes more money, eventually your share price will go up in value and you contribute directly to that because you own shares.
Yeah.
You gave them money to invest when you bought those shares of that company.
That's great.
But I'm teaching him with, he also loves noodles, like pasta is his favorite food in the world. So Noodles and Company is also a publicly traded company.
Okay.
So he has and bought some shares of that. Microsoft, right? They have the Xbox,
Yes.
those Xbox. So I'm using the things and companies that he interacts with on a daily basis and saying, hey man, you can earn some money by doing these transactions, whatever these transactions are. Specifically, I have him in jujitsu, which is a martial art. And if he wins one of his matches, I pay him $50. I put that $50 into an account that he can choose whatever he wants to do with it. He normally has certain options, right? So you can go buy some, he loves cereal. It's one of his things. So you can buy some cereal, or you can go buy some shares of Roblox or Microsoft or like Apple. What do you want to do with it?
Right.
And kind of giving him these choices and letting him know what the outcome of those choices would be.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. All you parents out there, do you hear that? I know all your kids are on Roblox. My boys are. So
yep.
Here's a great tip for you.
Well, for sure, because you can teach him how to make the money. So I don't pay for Roblox at all. There's a currency in the game. You probably know this. It's called Robux. And
yep.
You have to spend US dollars to buy those.
Yes.
And then in the game, you can buy whatever, character outfits you want. I don't pay for that. I tell him, hey man, if you want to do that, you have to make that money with your stock. So buy your shares at $35 and sell them at $42. That's a $4
yes.
per share gain. If you buy 10 shares, that's $40, 40 US dollars that you could pull out of your account and use that and go buy your Robux. And he's done that four or five times, I believe, at this stage. And it's, over the course of a year, he's buying a little bit, selling a little bit, and he kind of knows the process. He knows the interactions, and he can see the capability of easily creating money, because the stock market is a very fast way to create liquid currency. And it's very phenomenal to see how it works.
That's amazing. I'm going to start that with, they're always asking for more Robux. I'm like, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So we'll talk offline about that.
Sure. But because I love the question that you said, like, what are some tools that you're teaching them? And that's just like you did an amazing job with, teaching your daughter, hey, these are how this whole process works. That's what we have to do as parents. Like, yes, the school system can be changed, should be changed, will be changed and updated. But before that, well, we have to start with our children. We have to start with ourselves. We have to be the light and the example of constantly learning and improving and bettering and changing our mindset to learn new things about money. Another random fact about stock market. If you have 100 shares of a company, you can rent it out just like you rent out a house. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So you can bring in monthly income from your stocks as well as your homes.
Okay. Wow.
That's legal. The people do that all the time. They've been doing that since the 70s. It's been around for a very, very long time. And you can make hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, depends on how much shares you got.
Right.
But this can be an entire new stream of income for people who are either A, retired, or B, about to retire. And it's an incredible opportunity.
So what's the mechanics of doing that? Like, Can you give like a
Yeah,
specific example? Like,
absolutely. So let's use Apple as an example. So you have to buy 100 shares of Apple. Right now, Apple is trading at about $140 a share.
okay.
So you would spend $14,000 to buy 100 shares. Well, then what you have to do is you have to what's called sell a call option. So the strategy itself is called covered calls. So you can go on YouTube, you can look it up. There's free resources everywhere. I teach it on my website for free. But you do a covered call at 150. So remember, you bought the stock at 140. You are renting it out for someone else to potentially buy your stock from you at 150. So if it goes up to 150, you sell it for a profit and you keep the rent money. If it doesn't go up to 150, you keep the rent money and you keep the shares and you can do it again next month.
Ah,
So the situation is pretty simple. You keep the rent money no matter what. And you either sell your stock for a profit or you keep the stock. You can do it again later. Now, initially, most people are going to go, well, what's the downside? Well,
right.
the downside is if the stock could keep going down, right? So let's say you buy a garbage company, not like a garbage company like Waste Management, but like an actual horrible stock that has no value. Exactly. So you're not buying a Johnson & Johnson, a Procter & Gamble, a Verizon, T-Mobile, a Target. You're buying some random pharmaceutical company you've never heard of that doesn't make product that you ever interact with ever. Those can go down. You can lose money, but in really, really great companies, longer term, this strategy actually adds zero additional risk. Zero. And that's a fantastic way to have that insight and to know that this strategy does exist for people in IRAs. There's all kinds of cool stuff. But like you mentioned, it's just about knowing what it is. And so I know you're a HELOC specialist. So, I mean, let's think about for a moment, like what's the interest rate on the HELOC? 6-ish%.
Right.
Imagine you take a HELOC and you have rental property with it and you go and trade the US stock market with it. Once you learn what to do, once you know how the process works, once you do a little bit of studying, maybe spend a year and a half just getting your knowledge tools and your knowledge basis up on the stock market. Could you make 12% a year on the stock market, pay 6% on the HELOC and make a free 6% a year? Yeah. People do it all the time.
Yeah. This is exciting. Like
It is exciting.
Getting like all these baselines set up to then have all these different ways of creating wealth. This is great. So can you please explain replace your dollar and replace your mortgage or your life trading, real life trading?
I can do both. I can do all three.
Great.
Yeah. Yep. So Replace Your Dollar is a portion of a company called Replace Your Mortgage. Replace Your Mortgage is a company that I work very closely with. One of my dear friends created. His name is Michael Lush here in Franklin, Tennessee. That's where I live, Nashville, Tennessee. And it's about a financial tool that many people are not familiar with, which is literally not having a mortgage, but instead of having a mortgage, which is what's called a closed-end product, you have an open-ended product called a first position HELOC. And it sounds like, I don't know what that means, but it literally means you don't have a mortgage at all. All of your holding, all of the value of your house is in your home equity line of credit, and you go in and out like a checking account. So you put money in, you pull money out, you put money in, you pull money out. And if you do that, you can pay down the balance extremely quickly on your home because home equity line of credits are simple interest, not amortized compounding interest. So the interest structure is totally different. So you can pay down your house in 5 to 7 years. Very, very fast. That's an incredible product. Now, through Replace Your Mortgage, I teach a portion, something called Replace Your Dollar. Replace Your Dollar is so that people can understand how they can increase their US dollar holdings using the US stock market. Because it is a very, very well-known fact that you can make money as the stock goes up, but it's not a very well-known fact that you can make money as the stock goes down. In fact, all you need to know is the proper direction of the market, and you can make obscene amounts of money.
Yes.
As much as you want. If the market's going up, you can make money. If the market's going down, you can make money. You just have to know what buttons to press because there are certain buttons. So a company that I created about 10 years ago is called Real Life Trading. Real Life Trading is a global stock market education brand that teaches people for free how the stock market works. And the reason it's free is because I don't want people to have an excuse anymore to not learn this. Because most people, for up until really when I created my company, you would have to spend some relatively absorbent amount of money to learn how the stock market works. When I say absorbent, I don't know, 40 grand, 50 grand.
Okay.
Well, a lot of people can't spend that. So what about them? Well, I wanted to give every single person on the entire planet the ability, the capability, the access to learn it. That doesn't mean they have to do it full time. It just means that they have to be aware how it works. And once you're aware of something, you start seeing it more. And when you start seeing it more, you can start interacting with it more. And if you start interacting with it more, your life can change.
So, so this program, at what age do you think that it would make sense for, I guess, our youth, like 18
Yeah.
or like,
No, 7.
what age? 7?
7. Yeah, 7 and up. 7
Okay.
and below, it's a little hard for them to kind of start
Okay.
grasping some stuff. But
Okay.
after 7, I have a kids program.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Do you
Yeah,
have an
100%.
adult program, a kids program?
I got a kids program. I got a kids book
Oh.
teaching kids how the stock market works. It's called
Okay.
a stock market journey.
Okay.
And it goes through a 13-year-old girl's story about her interacting with video games. And she's really good at video games, but all the money that she makes in video games are fake. And she's like, well, this is dumb. I want to make actual real money. So that's the concept of the book, and the story that a girl named Tracy, that she goes down, just kind of learning how the stock market works, because the stock market is a video game. It's not gambling. It is a math-based system that can be used to create wealth for anyone and everyone. It is possible. Doesn't mean that everyone's going to win at it, because some people aren't disciplined. Some people have a really hard time following rules. Some people are very impatient. And if you are impatient, it's very hard to make money in the stock market. But if you are patient and you are disciplined and you can follow a very good, strict set of rules, so much wealth opens up to you.
So what would you say to the listener out there who's listening and they are 50 years old and they've just, their mindset has been more of a closed mindset, and now they're, basically their mindset's opening. What advice would you give them at this point in their life?
Well, that's an amazing question. So really, it's a beautiful feeling to know that you're starting to open up and receive information that's been available and ready and waiting for you for a very long time. The second piece is 50 is extremely young nowadays. So there's a lot of time left, so much time left to make huge impacts, to make really amazing growth journeys in your relationships, in your health, and in your financial acumen. Because it's not too late to start, ever, but you do have to start in order to start. You have to take a step. You have to begin this journey. Every marathon has steps in it. So regardless of what step you are on, my best advice is read a bunch of books with the word money in the title. That's what changed my life forever. So from the age of 11, my dad would pay me $20 per book to read it and write a report. And the only books I was allowed to read to get $20, they had to have the word money in the title.
I like that.
Or something that related to money. So
Right.
Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Money and the Meaning of Life, The Soul of Money. Some newer ones, You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero, Money Grows on Trees by your boy, Jeremy Newsom, Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. There's so many books that are just focused about and on solely currency. And if you go in and read those books, your beliefs will change, because rich people hide secrets of wealth in places that poor people don't look, inside of a book.
Right. So what's one tip that you would give from your book, Money Grows on Trees?
Yes.
That
one tip,
or a couple, whatever you think is like most beneficial for the audience.
whatever you charge right now, triple it.
Okay.
Now it can be commission. So let's say you're a realtor. And you're like, well, I can't triple my commit. Triple it. Try it. See what happens, because what will occur is you're going to start battling what's called a belief system. That's the point, right? You're going to
Right.
challenge a belief system that, oh, I can't make that much. Oh, no one will pay me that much. Oh, the system says I can't do it. Why not? Challenge yourself. Why not? If you are a coach right now, let's say you're a fitness coach and you charge $100 an hour.
Mhm.
If you triple it and charge $300 an hour and you get literally 30% less clients, you'll make as much money, if not more money, and you'll be working a lot less. But now your brain has to go, how can I become a $300 an hour client or coach? Because there are coaches out there that charge that.
Yes.
Right? Tony Robbins charges $1 million an hour and he has a 5-year waiting list. So how do you become that valuable? It terrifies people. But I promise, if you can sit in that for a moment and figure out what the struggles are, you can write down and kind of think through what your challenges are for doing that. So much will unfold for you.
Thank you, Jeremy. This has been amazing. I want to go ahead and let the audience know how they can reach you and what offerings you have for them at this time.
Absolutely. So the easiest way to get a hold of me and get more insight and information, just pop over to reallifetrading.com and click on the beginner tab. So there'll be a beginner tab that's bright green, and you click on it and just kind of start going through the material. Again, all the education is free. So make sure you click the link that's, if it's in the show notes or if you're on the website, whatever link is available to you, go there and just go through some of the education and see if it's interesting to you or maybe someone that you know. If it opens a new door to a belief system and can change your mindset and belief structure on something, I feel like I would have done my job, but you'll really, really appreciate the information that is there, because my goal, my mission in life is to enrich lives. And I feel like as you go through the journey, you will really 100% understand that that mission is being fulfilled by anyone who goes through that course.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Take care.